Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. We're back for week number 2 of the No Filter Q&A. Last week, I received quite a few questions with regards to training, supplementation, dietary nutrition. And this week, I thought I would ask a few more clients to send me their questions, people on Instagram, Facebook, and it's worked out really well. I've been receiving lots of questions, so I really appreciate that. It's keeping me busy during the second lockdown here in BC. I'm having a lot of fun doing these. So if you do have any questions, remember, you can always send them to me either email nick@foreverfitperformance.com or on my Instagram, fitcausegrowth. Okay, and I'm happy to answer any questions. I'd like to answer them on the YouTube channel as well as our online training platform. So send me your questions. I love answering them. And let's get to it. Okay, so first question number 1, which is more effective, circuit training or basic straight set training? Honestly, they're both effective. The problem I see, though, with basic straight set training, especially these days, especially with phones in the gym, I watch people around the gym and they do a set. Let's say someone does a bench press. And then as soon as that set's done, they get on their phone, they're cruising Instagram, they're looking at Facebook. I don't know what they're doing, but they're on their phone. They're zoned in for a good 2, 3, sometimes 5 minutes in between sets. That becomes a problem because the whole idea of training is you want to stimulate the muscle to grow. So if you're doing a set and then you're resting for 2, 3 minutes in between sets, well, that muscle is fully recovered before you hit it again. And that's what you don't want to do. It's like I always tell my clients, you want to hit a muscle when it's at about 60 to 70% recovered. So that's why I don't recommend taking, if you are going to do basic straight set training, don't take longer than 45 seconds to a minute in between sets. And the rest that you're taking in between sets should not be to look at your phone. It should be to adjust your weight and focus on your next set coming up. Okay, whether that means you're taking weight off, or you're putting weight on, or you're focusing straight on your next set. It shouldn't be answering a text message or looking through your emails. Okay, save that for after the workout. So that's the problem with basic straight set. Now, when it comes to circuit training, I love doing circuit training with my clients. And one of the reasons I can do circuit training with my clients is we have the luxury of being at a private training facility. So we can combine 3 or 4 exercises in a row with little to no rest in between. I like doing that for multiple reasons, but the main reason I do that with my clients is because most people that work with me see me 3 to 4 times a week. So that's only 3 or 4 hours a week in the gym. That's plenty. However, we have to use that time to our maximum, right? Which means that with circuit training, we get more volume in, right? So typical workout with one of my clients, and they'll tell you, we get in at least 48, sometimes 52 sets in a 60-minute period. We're moving fast. Okay, so I like circuit training when I'm using it in a private training facility. In a commercial gym, I understand that's difficult, especially with COVID now. It's going to be really hard to circuit train, and you probably really shouldn't circuit train in a commercial gym. It's kind of disrespectful to other members. So I would keep those rest periods 45 seconds to a minute. Both are beneficial. I like to do circuit training for my clients just for the reason I like to get as many exercises as we can, as much volume into those 60 minutes. So we really maximize our time in the gym. But if you're training in the gym, let's say six days a week on a bodybuilding split, basic straight set training works well. I do that all the time. But again, rest periods, 45 seconds to a minute max. All right, question number 2. What's your opinion on pre-workout powders? I don't think pre-workout powders are necessary. And I also don't think they're as dangerous as people believe. I mean, there's some people out there saying, oh, pre-workout powders are going to kill you and they're jacked full of stimulants. Yeah, some pre-workout powders are not the healthiest and they're not FDA approved and they're on the market and they're selling. And I personally wouldn't necessarily want to put something into my body that I didn't know what was in it. And that's the problem with a lot of pre-workout powders, and not just pre-workout powders, but a lot of supplements in general. They'll put on their label proprietary blend. And as soon as you see that, you're like, well, what the hell is a proprietary blend? I want to know what I'm taking. I want to know exactly how much of what is in the product that I'm using. So myself, I don't use pre-workout powders anymore. Usually just a cup of coffee is fine for me. But if I were to recommend a pre-workout powder, I'd recommend one that is completely transparent and tells you what's inside of it, okay? And be very careful too, because let's say you do have a heart condition. You have to be careful with some of these pre-workout powders because they're full of caffeine. I've seen some pre-workout powders that have like 200 milligrams of caffeine for one little scoop. And I know a lot of guys who will take like 2 scoops of those pre-workout powders. Oh, I mean, 400 milligrams of caffeine before a workout. If you have a arrhythmia or some kind of heart issue, that's not good. So I'd be very careful. I'm old school. I like a good cup of coffee. I know when I was younger, I used to rely on pre-workout powders, but I honestly don't notice a difference without them now. So I wouldn't recommend using them. If you're going to use one, just make sure you use one that's transparent with this labeling. Question number 3. Do you have any tips to help bring up my legs? No matter how hard I train them, they don't seem to respond. Yeah, I had this problem, I think in my early 20s when I first started competing. I had a lot of judges from different shows telling me I had to bring up my legs. I had to bring up my legs. And it wasn't until I started incorporating multiple drop sets, quadruple drop sets, triple drop sets into my program. That's when my legs started to grow. And I think the reason behind that is our quadriceps are primarily fast twitch muscle fibers. Our hamstrings are slow twitch muscle fibers. But at the same time, I find that when you use a combination of very high repetitions, as in going, sometimes for legs, I'll go as high as 20 reps, but typically 12 to 15 reps. And again, just hitting that muscle nonstop, high volume, lots of sets, lots of different exercises. So you hit it from multiple angles. So if you're doing, for example, a drop set in a squat rack, what I would do is I like to squat with 3 plates aside. That's my final set, and I've been doing that for years. I don't go heavier than that, so I think that's 315. So it's 345s aside. What I'll do is I'll knock out 10 to 12 reps. This is my last set, 10 to 12 reps. Immediately, I'll strip a plate off each side, or I'll have my training partner strip a plate off each side. So now we're down to 245s per side, and we're talking like 15-second rest in between just to switch weights. I'm not waiting another minute, and then I knock out another 10 to 12 reps. And then one more time, I'll take off another plate each side. So now we're down to 1 plate each side, and I'll knock out again 12, 15 reps. You do that. When you get out of there, not only is your cardiovascular system going to be just like exhausted, your legs will be on fire. And I do that for all my leg exercises. So I'll do that if I'm doing, like, say I'm at a commercial gym and I'm doing the leg press. I'll do the same thing. You might start off, have 8 plates, then I'll take it down to 6 plates, and I'll take it down to 4 plates, and I'll take it down to 2 plates. And again, I'm just taking the weights off and I'm right back in on that machine again. Okay, so that's very important too. You can't be resting for another minute in between sets. That's not a drop set. A drop set needs to be hit really, really quickly. Okay, so if you're having problems bringing up your legs, I'd recommend doing that. Another thing I'd recommend doing is separating. I talked about this last week on the Q&A, is separating your leg workouts. So if legs are a weaker area for you, give one day where you're doing, say, all quads. And then the second day you're doing glutes, hamstrings, and calves. I'd also recommend putting those days on back-to-back, because if you're training your legs super intensely, as I'm sure most of you are, with legs, you're not going to be able to walk within 48 hours due to dome syndrome, right? Delayed onset muscle soreness. So I know when I train my legs, let's say on Saturday, Sunday, I'm usually okay. That's when I do my hamstrings. But come Monday morning, oh my God, I'm in so much pain. It hurts just to sit on the toilet. So I would recommend putting them on back-to-back days. And I would recommend doing 2 leg workouts, but different leg workouts, not squatting twice a week. Again, one workout where you're doing maybe your squats, leg press, hack squats, another workout where you're doing your hamstring curls, straight leg deadlifts, hip thrusts, right? Okay, so keep those workouts separate. Question number 4. Do you train women differently than you train men? Not really, no. For the most part, I give my female clients pretty much the same exercises I give my male clients. Again, I don't necessarily base the workouts. I don't customize the workouts for people based on their gender. I assess their physiques. So I look at their weaknesses and I look at their strengths, and I expose their weaknesses and I really work on that. So if I'm working with someone who I can tell has, a little bit of muscular imbalance in their upper body, say I'm working with a woman and she's got great legs, but she spent the last 10 years focusing on lower body, but then she has no upper body strength, I might prioritize the upper body workouts a little bit more. I might spend more time with a female client doing exercises like hip thrusts, and with the guys, I might do a little bit more chest work. But for the most part, I train men and women pretty much the same. I mean, I have a lot of couples that work with me, and they'll tell you they do the same workouts. So I don't necessarily think that a man and a woman have to train differently. I think what it comes down to is assessing your own physique and looking at your physique honestly and critically and saying, okay, what do I need to bring up? If you genetically have amazing legs, okay, lucky for you. You probably don't have to train your legs as intensely or as much volume as, say, someone like me who wasn't genetically blessed with great legs. So I really had to focus on bringing up that area. So again, assess your physique. And I don't really take into consideration I don't even take into consideration someone's age. I just really hit someone as much as I possibly can, as much as they can actually do themselves. Okay, that's important too. That's my job as a trainer and a coach. I push my clients to beyond what they think they can do. Okay. Question number 5. I'm putting together a home gym. Do you have any recommendations as to what I should buy? Yeah, when it comes to putting together a home gym, personally myself, I mean, I admire you. I could not work out at home. My home, I don't have anything in this place that resembles the gym. No dumbbells, no kettlebells. I don't want any of that in my place. But if you're putting together a home gym, you really just need the basics. You don't need to have all the fancy bells and whistles. I have one of my clients last week messaged me because we're in another lockdown here in BC with restrictions, gym closures. And he said to me, he's like, I'm going to buy some equipment. What do you recommend? And I sent him a list of that, in his case, was just a few sets of dumbbells, a barbell. If you could get a barbell, great. A few bumper plates. And that was it, really. I didn't say, oh, you need to get, a squat rack, or you need to get all these cable machines or unilateral cable machines and all these bells and whistles with mats and nothing like that. I really think you can get a good workout just going back to the basics. And even if you can't get a barbell, dumbbells are perfect. I mean, you could do a whole body workout with dumbbells, right? You could do dumbbell shoulder presses, dumbbell lateral raises, dumbbell rear delt raises, dumbbell front raises. You could do dumbbell squats, right? You can even do dumbbell presses for your chest off the floor. So you can do multiple amount of different exercises with just dumbbells. So don't think because the gyms are closed, you can't do anything. If it were me and I didn't have access to my gym right now, what I would be doing is I would just be using a pair of dumbbells. As much as I hate training at home, I'd be doing it, but I would just get a few pairs of dumbbells and that would be it. And that would be more than enough. If you have more room, let's say you're in a house and you have a nice basement suite, then yeah, if you could get a squat rack, by all means do it. A squat rack, you could do so much too, right? But when it comes to cables and machines, I wouldn't waste your money on that. This lockdown here in BC is not going to last forever. And at the end of the day, I find most of that equipment just gets dusty, and you end up seeing it for sale 3 weeks later on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist. So yeah, dumbbells, and if you have the room, barbell. Okay. Next question. I started my personal training business right before the pandemic hit and shut everything down. I'm finding it really challenging to find clients. Where do you find your clients? It's just so hard right now, right? With the pandemic. One of the people I work with, Charlene Labrador, she's a yoga instructor. She did the same thing. She started her yoga business right in the midst of the pandemic. And this person, I believe, said started it right at the beginning or right before the pandemic hit. When I first started my business, it was right before the financial crisis of 2008. And so even then, though, we didn't have social media. So to market myself, I couldn't use Facebook. I couldn't use Instagram. I couldn't use Snapchat. And I didn't work for a big box gym either. So I had to get all my clients myself. So what I started doing was I'd go on places like Craigslist and I'd give out free sessions. And what that did was I'd get someone hooked on the first session, because I would take that free session as if I was getting paid, and I would give it my all. Because I'm selling myself, I'm selling my service, and I want to show this person why they should work with me. Now, what would happen is once that person did book with me and say we worked together for about 6-7 months, they'd start getting compliments on their physique, or they'd start feeling good themselves. And I would establish a good relationship. I established pretty good relationships with all my clients, and they would start referring me friends and family. And that's how my business started, was all through referral. I didn't put a dime into marketing. I mean, putting my ad up on Craigslist for free was free. And to this day, we still rely on referrals from our clients, because in my opinion, that's the best form of marketing, right? Especially in this industry. You are selling a service, you're selling yourself. And yeah, you can promote yourself as much as you want, even on today on social media, which does help. But at the end of the day, someone's going to trust the recommendation from a friend or a family member more than what they just see online, right? So what I'd recommend for this person is doing the same thing that Charlene's doing right now, which is offer free sessions. Once you get to a point in your career, you're not going to have to do that forever. But for those first initial few months, or even possibly a few years, you're going to have to offer free sessions. And I really think that's a good way to start. Again, if you get a few good clients, all it takes, I have one client that's been training for me since 2005. Yeah, 2005. And this entire time, I think we've increased her rate just once. And the reason why is she has sent us so much business in the past 16 plus years. the amount of money I would have put into marketing to generate the business that this person has sent us, it's incredible. So this is where it comes down to providing an excellent service, and your clients will reward you for that. You know, they'll refer other people to you. So again, I'd really, really strongly advise throughout those free sessions, but most importantly, don't treat those free sessions like, well, I'm not getting paid, so I'm not going to give it my all. No, give it your all. Okay, this first impressions matter. So if anything, that first session, you should be good to go. Okay, it shouldn't be spent 10 minutes with your client on a bike and talking about your dates on the weekend and all this garbage. No. You've got a plan. You're going in. You've already spoken to this person, whether it be through email or through Zoom. So you already know what their flaws are. You already know what they need to work on. You have an idea. You're going to customize that first workout for them. You're going to blow their mind. Okay. That's what I'd recommend right now. But pandemic or no pandemic, that's how you start a personal training business without the help of a big box gym or using spending thousands of dollars in marketing on Google. Okay, question number 7. I'm new to working out and was wondering how long my workout should be. I assume how you mean by how long each workout you spend in the gym should be. Okay, so the standard personal training session is 60 minutes. I actually don't even know why it's 60 minutes. We just kind of followed suit with that over the years, and it was passed down in 60 minutes. That's what a standard personal training session is. With that said, though, I have people, and if they're watching this show, they know who they are, who notoriously come late to my sessions, 15, 20 minutes late. And I don't know how, but they somehow get everything I would have planned for them in 60 minutes. They get it done in 45 minutes. And they do a good job doing it too. So the reason I'm saying this is I don't necessarily think that there's a magical time period. I don't think 60 minutes is the perfect time to work out. And I don't think you should be working out more personally than 60 minutes anyway. My own workouts are never longer than 40, 45 minutes. I've never spent longer in the gym 45 minutes, unless I'm doing cardio after my workout, getting ready for a show. But if I'm not doing cardio after my weight workouts, 45 minutes. It's not necessarily the duration of the workout, it's what you do in that workout that matters. So if you can get as much volume and as much sets and intensity into a 40, 45 minute that you can with a 60 to maybe 80-minute workout, then obviously do the 40, 45-minute workout. You're working out smarter, not necessarily harder, right? And that's the whole idea behind the weight training. You want to stimulate, not annihilate the muscle, right? So don't think, oh, it's 60 minutes, I got to leave now. No. You should be really just taking your workouts to true failure. Now, there's also people who I know people, and I was guilty of this when I first started training, like 2.5, 3 hours in the gym. If you're training that long in the gym, there is no way you're using absolutely like crazy hard intensity. No way. You can't maintain that certain level of intensity that's necessary to stimulate muscle growth for 3 hours. So if you're spending time talking with your buddy, you're playing on your phone in between sets and you're in the gym, 2 hours goes by, to me, that's a waste of a workout. You get much more doing a 40, 45-minute workout, in, out, phone stays down, don't look at it, just train, stay focused, that's it. So again, don't look at necessarily the clock, just look at the intensity of the workout. Okay, next question. Question number 8. Which abdominal exercises will work best to help me lose the layer of fat covering my midsection? None of them. Again, I know people hear this time and time again. When it comes to losing fat, abs are made in the kitchen. You know, it's 80% diet, although I don't believe it's 80% diet. But when it comes to losing body fat, it comes down to dietary nutrition and cardio, okay? Those are two big things right there. And not just cardio, weight training as well. Weight training does help burn fat. But the thing is, if you've got a layer of fat covering your midsection and you're doing leg raises, you're doing crunches, and you're doing you're doing oblique crunches, you're doing bicycles, you're doing reverse crunches, all these abdominal exercises, which are great to strengthen your core, they're not going to do jack shit to bring out the abdominal region if you've got a layer of fat covering them. That comes down, in my opinion, primarily to diet. Yes, cardio is important, but diet, that's where you got to get your diet in check. Okay. And that's more important than the abdominal work, but abdominal work is still important. I still do abdominal work with all my clients because I'm a true believer that you need to have a strong core. So that's why we do abdominal work. But you ask any of them and they'll tell you, I don't train abs any more than I train the other muscle groups. I've never believed in that. So if you're training, for example, your legs once or twice a week, why the hell would you train your abs 7 days a week? Doesn't make sense. Yet I see people over and over again doing abs every day, just hoping that they're going to have that six pack. Then meanwhile, they go home and they shit on their diet, right? So before you start doing all these ab exercises, I would be looking at your diet first. And by looking at your diet, I mean really analyzing your diet and saying, okay, am I in a caloric surplus here? Am I going out drinking with my friends every night or every 2 or 3 days? Am I ordering from Skip the Dishes every night before I go to bed? Well, I don't know what you're doing, but that's what I'd be looking at first at the diet. 9 times out of 10, when I work with someone who is overweight, it's their diet. Okay. Unless there's a medical health reason, it's usually their diet. That's the problem. Question number 9. I've heard you say that weight training burns more calories than cardio. However, according to my Fitbit, I burn 210 more calories running for 45 minutes than I do when I'm in the gym lifting weights for the same period of time. What are your thoughts on this? Well, I think I made it very clear my thought on Fitbit. However, I'll keep that to another episode. I won't talk about Fitbit. What I will talk about is, you're right. You do burn more calories doing cardio in the moment than you would with weight training. So let's say you're doing, as first it says 45-minute treadmill, and I don't know, say you burn 330 calories. And you do a 45-minute weight workout, and let's say you burn 235 calories. In that period of time, yes, you have technically burned more calories on the treadmill than you have in the weight pit. However, the good thing about weight training is the more muscle you have, the more calories you burn in a rested state, which means that once you leave the gym from that weight training session, your metabolism is burning more calories throughout the day than if you were not to do that weight training session and only do cardio. Okay, because once that cardio session is done, yeah, your heart rate's up for what, maybe 15 minutes after the workout, but then it drops down. You go back down to your base metabolic rate and you're not burning any more calories than you would throughout the rest of the day. So that's where weight training is actually more effective for fat burning purposes than cardiovascular. Cardiovascular exercise is great for the heart. I do recommend you do them, just like I recommend you do abdominal work for your core. I'm not saying don't do cardio, but I'm saying don't rely on cardio to burn fat. It should be a combination of diet, cardiovascular exercises, along with resistance training exercises. Those 3 components are going to help you strip body fat much more efficiently and much more quickly than just doing cardio alone. And if all you're doing is cardio and thinking, well, I just want to burn fat, you will lose fat. But what happens is it just goes back to even the keto diet I talked about. Your body relies on that cardio to continue to burn fat. So let's say you go hard for the month of January and you're doing 45, 60 minutes a day runs. Yeah, you might lose 15, 20 pounds. The problem is that you have to continue that level of intensity, that training, if you want to keep that weight off and continue to lose weight. Whereas if weight training, if you take 2-3 weeks off, I told all my clients this during this current lockdown, you're not going to really lose any muscle. You might lose, 1 or 2 pounds of muscle, but your body doesn't lose muscle that quickly. Okay, so you will still burn those calories in a rested state. I mean, myself personally, I consume at least 8,000 calories a day, and I'm not overweight. Okay, and it's because I do have quite a bit of muscle, so my body burns through it really quickly. And I only do 20 minutes of cardio a day. That's it. And I only do cardio for my heart. At my age, that's the only reason I do cardio for. I like it as a cool down after my workouts. Cardio I do maybe 4 or 5 days a week. The weight training I do 6 days a week. So again, I do strongly believe, despite what the Fitbit says, although the Fitbit is correct, you do burn more calories in that period of time, but overall, for the 24-hour period of that day, weight training is much more effective. That 45-minute weight training session will be much more effective for fat burning purposes than that 45-minute cardiovascular session will ever be, period. Okay, question number 10. How are you staying busy with your gym currently closed due to the pandemic? I'm getting a lot of questions about this from friends and family and clients. They would message me saying, are you okay? Because anyone that knows me knows that I'm a workaholic. I love to work. I love to stay busy. And with these restrictions here in BC, with gym closures for the next, I think it was for 4 weeks, it'll probably be longer. Everyone's like, what are you doing? You must be going crazy. You must be drinking every day. And to be honest, no, I haven't been drinking every day. What I've been doing is I've been working a lot on our online platform. I've been doing these YouTube videos. I've been doing lots. I've been writing quite a few blogs as well. So I've been staying busy. Clean my house extra clean. It's really clean right now. Robin can tell you that. She knows how when I have nothing to do, I just stay at home and just clean. So I keep myself busy. One of the things I've been doing too is I've been trying to learn more about the business side of personal training. That's one thing is, when you get really busy in this industry, it's great. You have a lot of clients, but you're in it. So you can't really, and any business owner will tell you, when you're working in your business, you can't grow your business. So I've actually been taking a few business courses on the side as well, just learning about different aspects and how to grow our business as a whole as we continue to move forward into 2022 and beyond that. So that's what I've been doing. I've been using this time to actually work on my business instead of just working in my business. And it's actually been very beneficial and probably something I needed to do. Because again, not that I'm on the floor as much as I used to be, but I'm at the gym every day. And when you're in it, you don't see it. And there's little things that you can be doing as a business owner to help your business expand. So anyone who's in this industry right now, that's what I'd recommend them to do too. Don't just sit around waiting for the gyms to reopen. Work on your business. This is perfect time. You've got lots of time to do it. So that's what I've been doing. So right now I've been filling my days. I'm actually busier these days because I've been doing a lot of our online work as well with the online platform and the YouTube channel. So I've been staying pretty busy. So I'm still doing those 12-hour days. So haven't slowed down yet. Okay, last question number 11. Why don't you like CrossFit? Okay, I want to be clear. It's not that I don't like CrossFit. I think I badmouthed CrossFit over the years. I've had some fun making fun of CrossFit exercises, and everyone thinks that I hate CrossFit. I don't hate it. I just, how do I say this nicely? CrossFit to me is incredibly risky. Okay. I remember when CrossFit first got really popular back in, and it was around 2007-8 here in BC. That's when it really started to take its stride. It's kind of like how Orange Theory is the new thing here now. That's how CrossFit was back then. And I remember I was worried a little bit because I thought, man, I'm going to lose some clients to this CrossFit fad. And I better learn CrossFit so I can keep up. And I remember I actually took a CrossFit class just to see what it was all about. And the exercises they were doing, and I was young, I was in my early 20s, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing. I mean, they wanted me doing exercises like clean and jerks. I don't really have problems with clean and jerks per se, but it was with like ballistic movements. The form was, you're pretty much relying on momentum. And what would happen is a lot of people who were not in the greatest shape who joined CrossFit, they'd get injured, and they would get injured very quickly and quite severely. And when I noticed the trend happening then in 2009, 2010, I was getting a lot of clients who were coming in from CrossFit who were all injured. So that told me right there that it's probably not the best style of training for everyone. For some people, sure. Some people love CrossFit. They swear by it. Good for them. But for the average person, let's say a lot of my clients are lawyers, or if I'm working with someone who's just a regular average person who's a doctor or an accountant who just wants to be fit, they don't really know much about the gym, and I don't expect them to know much about the gym. But this is where I like bodybuilding, because bodybuilding, everyone can do bodybuilding. Everyone, all the exercises in bodybuilding are safe because they're controlled. Very rarely do I see anyone get injured in the gym when they're working out with myself or when they're following a bodybuilding training split. And the problem with CrossFit, you're doing these swinging chin-ups from your toes, and you're doing push-ups upside down. Again, I'm not bashing it. I don't see the point. And B, it's for the average person, it doesn't really offer any benefits. So I've always made fun of CrossFit, but at the end of the day, I don't hate CrossFit. And if you do CrossFit, that's great. That's good for you. If you love CrossFit, all the power to you. But I will continue to make fun of CrossFit because I do think it's quite funny. Just like I'm sure a lot of them make fun of bodybuilders, and that's fine. I don't take it personally. I never take anything personally. If someone doesn't like my style of training, no problem. That's fine. You can't take anything personally. So it's not that I don't like CrossFit. I just think it's too risky. And I don't recommend CrossFit to my clients if they ask me about it. A lot of my clients who've done CrossFit, they'll say the same thing. They'll say never again. So it's really up to the individual. If it works for you, great. But for me, I won't be doing CrossFit anytime soon. Anyway, guys, that's it for the second Q&A. Thank you all so much for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. And again, if you have any questions, like I said at the beginning of the video, email them to me, nick@foreverfitperformance.com, DM them to me on Instagram. I'm quite active on Instagram. I'm updating my stories all the time. I've got regular posting on there, so you can follow me on Instagram as well at Fit Cosgrove. Okay, and I'm always happy to answer any questions with regards to diet, training, supplementation. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and this video should probably be coming up on Tuesday, January 4th. Have a great day.